Hello guys, welcome back. I thought I did her video, but I didn't. So Frau Holle is going to be today's goddess. You can say Frau Holle, Frau Holda, people go into all sorts of different things, but since I discovered her through Grimm's fairy tales and she is actually a goddess, I usually go with Frau Holle or Frau Holda. Um, so since we're mentioning Grimm, let's go with the story, and it'll kind of teach you about the goddess, and it's not something I've seen repeated 5 billion times in videos. It's all over the internet, but I'll recount the version I remember, because I think mine's a little different. There are two girls, and my apologies to all the simply lovely stepmothers and stepsisters that love their family. This is Grimm's fairy tale from Germany. They're evil. Just go with it now. And the daughter of the father is good, golden better. And one day she's out, she's doing her spinning. She's very industrious. She does all the work in the house. The stepmom and the stepsister do absolutely nothing. They make her do everything. It's Grimm's fairy tale. And she's spinning and spinning and spinning, and her little spindle falls down the well. And she knows she needs this because she knows how much trouble she'll be in. So she's leaning in to get it, leaning in to get it. She falls down the well, keeps falling down the well, ends up in a beautiful row. And first thing she's doing, she looking for her spinning. She don't care she's in this different world. She finds it. And then she realizes she's lost. Where is she? She fell down the well and she's here, and they didn't have Super Mario at the time, so where is she? So she's going and she's walking around this lane, and she comes to this lovely cottage, and she knocks on the door. And this woman answers, and please forgive me, but Grimm would have you know she was truly frightening to this girl. She had huge teeth, sometimes in one version, one eye is bigger than another, the lower lip is huge, the one foot is huge, and she can sometimes be hunched back, but she's scary looking to this girl. She's terrifying. She's tall and she's hunched over, and she looks at her and she goes, "What is it, my dear?" And she says, "I'm sorry, ma'am, for bothering you, but I'm lost and I would just like to find my way home, please." And, she doesn't realize it's Frau Holle. She's talking to him, and she's looking at the girl, and she goes, "I'll tell you what, if you come and you work for me," because remember, anybody could be your servant back then, "and you work well all winter, I will reward you for everything you've spun. I will reward you for everything you've done." And she's like, "Okay." So the girl comes in, and she does all the work Frau Holle tells her to do, and sometimes it seems backwards, because remember, this was a poor girl. And she will tell her to, shake out the bedding until the feathers fly. And she's like, "Are you sure?" And she's like, "Oh, yes." So she will shake it until the feathers fly. And of course, that's the snow. And she does all this other stuff like sweeping and cleaning. And she's doing bread and she's doing spinning and everything. And Frau Holle is teaching her this whole time. And she's very pleased with this girl because this girl's kind, obedient, and loving. And, story time. And she's like, "Well, you obviously had a mother who, taught you well." And I'm sure there's like an even longer version where she gives the poor child therapy because, what her life's like. At the end of winter, she says, "Well, you've been as good a servant as I could possibly have. You will have your reward, my dear." And as the girl's going out the door, gold pieces just cover her from head to toe. And she goes running home, and there's a couple of different versions, but basically every time she speaks to her astonished family, she not only is covered in gold, but there's like diamonds or pearls or rubies or silver or something coming out of her mouth. You would think that would be horrifying, but it's Grimm's fairy tale. It's apparently expected. Well, instead of being happy to see her, the family's already planning, because it's Grimm, to do her in, but they want to know where to get some more gold, please. And the girl's very honest, sees no reason to lie, and she tells them everything that happened. And, meanwhile, there's jewels and everything falling out on the floor. Had to be fabulous. And the stepmother says, "I want you to go get this, because if this lazy good for nothing can get that, you can get more." Now remember, this is also kind of a story for adults, too, because this tells you what happens when you raise your kids a certain way. So the good for lazy, good for nothing goes and sits by the well. She too falls down, though it's contrived. She didn't do it by accident. She comes to Frau Holde's house, but remember, she's been raised to never do anything and to always let the other child do something. And this is not one of those stories where she learns, like on Hallmark, to find her heart and be a good girl. She is a brat. She will do nothing. She is absolutely not going to do anything. She does everything wrong, and Frau Holde is raging at her that she's stupid and lazy and she had better learn. She had better learn. And she's stuck there the whole winter anyways, but she makes Frau Holde miserable the whole time she's there. Anybody who works with her is like backing up 10 paces. And as she's walking out, Frau Holder smells at her extra sweetly and goes, "All right, my dear, you called me ugly. You wouldn't do your chores. You're lazy and you're selfish and you're mean-spirited. You will get a reward for all your work." So as she's going out, she gets covered in pitch, and some versions of the story have all these horrible wigglies covering her too. She goes home, and every time she opens her mouth, frogs and all these horrible things come out, and she's like that for the rest of her life. It's like, don't piss off the goddess of winter. Don't piss off death. She will get you. She will come over and see you and get you. And that's kind of like the moral of the story. It's like, if you are good, you don't have to be perfect, but if you're trying, she will bless you. If you're not trying, you're not going to have a good time with her. And, I was afraid of letting her approach me because, I have the disabilities, and sometimes it can be like a week or so before I have the energy to get to like a house chore or something, because I keep this house clean, as clean as possible, but if my energy's super low, sometimes I'm sleeping half the day. I do one of these videos and then I go and I sleep, and I'm not doing it to be lazy. It's just my body. But she understands. As long as you're doing your best, she's happy. She's very easy to work with. It's only recently that we set up an altar. Um, she's good for working with Odin. If you're going to work with Odin, Frau is considered the one that rides in the wild hunt with him. And she's considered, more than his match, just like Lady Frigg is. Some people will equate her with Frigg or Freya. I don't go there, and I think the ladies appreciate it. If they are the same goddess to you and that's your UPG, go with it. But for me, I treat them separately until told otherwise. She's the one that if I'm in a really bad mood, I think because she's so used to dealing with Odin, she can come through and deal with it. And I just give that kind of surprise snort I heard Odin give, like, okay, I'm fine. Mm. And he can be really angry and raging, and she will just come over, and he's like instantly calm. And she can do the same thing for other people. Like, I get really angry when I see injustice, and I'm like raging, and she just comes over, and I'm like, oh, I should be angry, but fine. So she's really good for that. She's also really good about, helping people get closer to the gods and helping them do the right thing. Not so much just being, only to the Norse gods, but to think about who your family is and which gods are truly with you, and, make that your family, whatever it might look like. So, she's really good to work with, and, I don't want to go into like all the, like I said, the stuff you can find in 50 for whole videos, because there's no sense reinventing the wheel. And, sometimes she leads the wild hunt on her own, and sometimes, she's with Odin. I think we already said that. And we really don't have the closest working relationship. She is here at her will, she's here to visit, and she's here to spend time. And she enjoys like watching me cook, or she will see me like looking at the housework and just not having the energy to do it. And she's very understanding about that. And sometimes I'm like, I think they pick me out because of that, because they're notorious for, if you don't have a sparkling clean home, I won't work with you. And they're like, I'm coming over to you. You'll talk about me eventually. You'll tell them I'm nice. I swear sometimes they pick me on purpose. But she's really good about it. And she's really good about making the house a home, if that makes sense. About, like kind of think like Hestia, like making the house a home, making it worth living in, making it feel warm and cozy and open to the family. And she would, of course, be, the one to be kind to strange or stray gods. And she's the goddess of winter, obviously, goddess of death. And, it depends where you go from there. I work with that aspect. Some people experience her as a goddess of life, death, rebirth. I don't have that experience, but, if that's yours, you go with it. So, it's a shorter video, but I figured I would get it out because Frau Holle stuff forward, and I'm like, okay. I know we recently talked about her. In fact, I went back and I checked my God of the Day videos, and I'm like, I could have sworn we did a video for her already, but that's okay. We'll do a new one. And I think it might be her with the little birdies. I don't know. She might be the goddess connected with the little birdies. She's connected to hers. I know that. And I get the definite idea of like wolves or whatever else, a lady of the animals and a lady of protecting the wild places. And obviously, like I said, the lady of death in winter. And basically, if you're being a nice person, she'll be a nice person to you. If you want to start trouble, she will bring it. she she won't do it with a smile on her face. There is a reason that Odin loves her. So if you like what you see, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys later. Bye bye.